Today's show is about how can filmmakers get actually get to the next level because people are talking about methods like get better gear, do this, do that technique, but the key is guys they are like they don't know the real game, and we're gonna talk about something really original, something that you never saw before, and that's a lot of people, whether it's in filmmaking, I saw it especially, but in all industries they are missing. But that's for you guys. So first, I'm going to quickly introduce myself. If you don't know me, I'm Gabriel. I'm the founder of Julie Media and Julie Production. I own a marketing company as well as a filmmaking and photography company. I do those two services. And because of that, I've learned a thing of two or two about marketing and sales that are going to definitely benefit you guys. But first, I'm going to go back to the subject because I don't want to waste any of your time. How can filmmakers get actually to the next level? And it's not what you think. It's not actually getting a better gear. It's not getting some lighting equipment or getting a better software or all the BS that, because it's BS, the things that people are telling you to do. It's not any of that. I'm going to share you the real truth. But first, subscribe to the show, guys. Subscribe to the show. I'm going to keep dropping every Saturday at that same time. Same time, I'm going to drop some nuggets, some gold nuggets for you creatives that you can take. I saw you guys like I didn't saw anybody talk about the things I'm going to talk about today, and I was like, man, that's a shame because some people in some industries know what I'm talking about, but you guys definitely don't, and that's a shame because you can take a lot out of that. Let's start right now. First, I'm going to share one secret to start with that. Better gear isn't the solution. And I know you, because I know myself as well. I'm like, oh, did you saw that camera that's just got like, wow, 8K stuff, 10-bit, that shit. Oh, that's great, that's great. Always the new gear, like, seems like the solution. Yeah, I'm gonna get some new gear, I'm gonna go invest on that. That's definitely gonna be a great investment. I'm gonna be able to charge more. Yes, but that ain't the right solution. And for a simple reason. I'm gonna tell you a little story. It's the story about a filmmaker, and I think I can quote myself on that. And a lot of you guys, I'm sure you add that story. That's obligated. I went to like a guy I wanted to work with. Like the guy seemed interested. He was like, "Yeah, man, I love what you do. Let's do something. Let's meet. Let's do something like that." Just a second, I got a phone call to respond. All right. So as I told you guys, man, like you go, you have a client, it seems interested, like, man, that's gonna be good, that's gonna be great. Like, I'm gonna make some money, and you go in your mind being like, okay, I'm gonna charge like 1 or 2K a shoot because it seems like a big project. You go on there, you feel confident, you feel great, you feel like, yeah, I'm gonna make some money, and then you go on there, you discuss with the person, and he's like, man, okay, the budget for the project is like 300 euros, or it was euros in my case. And then at that at that time, usually your face drop like, oh shit, I'm not gonna charge my 1K. And then you're like, okay, and then you find a way to basically adjust to that project, or then basically the clients go away and you lose an opportunity. And that happened to you more than one time. And I'm gonna go further on that in the show, so you definitely need to stay on the show to know the answer to that specific problem, because I'm going to clear that whole situation. It's never going to happen to you if you really go deep into what I'm going to tell in that show. But listen to that very carefully. It's not about the gear. The gear can't save you at that time. The gear just can't. What's going to save you is actually real skills, real competence on how you can close and how you can get better at selling. That's what's gonna get that deal. It's not what's gonna get. I'm in a show. So it's not what's actually going to make in so that you get that deal. And I'm going to go develop on that later in the show. So guys, let me tell you something. I want to introduce you to something really special that I brought right now. But first, I want to tell you something. Share the stream right now. Share the stream right now, and I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you the ultimate method to handle any price shoppers like that. If you don't want that situation to ever happen to you again, share the stream. Share the stream, do it, because that thing is going to get rid of whatever that situation you got. And you're never going to be disappointed again. So share the stream, and I'm going to send you the solution. Okay, now is the interview time. Now is the time I'm going to bring you the guest, the person that's going to give you some gold nuggets on how you guys can basically get to the next level. All right, here we go. So here is the guest for today. It's Hayward. Oh shit, my screen is in front of your face, Hayward. Sorry for that. So it's Hayward Crawford. The guy is a filmmaker, screenwriter, director, and producer at CCG Creative Group. He's got many years of experience in the model, and his mission is to help filmmakers discover their superpower and to actually become the extraordinary storytellers they always wished they can be. Through strategy coaching, creative collaboration, please introduce to the stage Hayward Crawford. What's up, my man?
Thank you, man, for that intro. Definitely appreciate you having me on, bro. I appreciate you building it up, but at the end of the day, I'm a regular guy and a filmmaker like everyone else. And as far as that share stream contest, I don't know if we mentioned what the raffle was, but I hope that includes guests, because I just shared it on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, your stream. So hopefully that gives me 3 times, right? I get 3 times to enter in there.
Yeah, actually, you're gonna get 3 times the information. Okay. You're gonna get 3x the results, man. That's the goal.
Now, if I did win, that'd be kind of like that probably piss a lot of people off, but might as well, never know. But thanks for having me, bro. And yeah, just a little bit about myself. I am I'm originally from Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. And fun fact, Gabriel, I don't know if you know, the Detroit French, I think it's pronounced Detroit. And
yes.
It's actually, it was founded by the French settlers, 1701.
Oh, right? Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Detroit is a French-based name. And then actually right across the Detroit River, you have Windsor, Canada. And obviously Canada is French-Canadian-based, obviously it's Canadian-based country. Yeah. But thanks for having me, bro. And I'm glad to have here. I know we met through our mutual group, Grant Cardone Mastermind. And fellow filmmakers, is always great to connect and kind of just share some nuggets. And like I said, I'm nobody special. I grew up like, middle working class, blue collar in the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. And, basically kind of figured this filmmaking thing out, didn't have much exposure to film throughout K through 12 school and all the way through, like, not even really till college. I picked up my first camera after my second year. So I wasn't sure how deep you wanted me to dive into, but long story short, moved out to Los Angeles a couple years ago. And, I came from Michigan roots, where we had a lot of different films that were shooting in Michigan, a lot of opportunity. And then, of course, things happen like any cycle of the economy, and a lot of the work went away. So you kind of had to learn how to pivot where you could. So I'm just really interested in kicking off this conversation. Obviously, feel free to give me questions so we can keep things aligned with the agenda. But just as far as that goes, we're really going to, talk just basically about what type of filmmaker you might be. Because I think a lot of people don't really realize from a personality standpoint or a risk tolerance standpoint where you fall in the spectrum. So you got to figure yourself out first. You can't be out here just chasing wherever the shiny object is. So with that in mind, we can feel free to kick off the conversation. I don't want to rant too much. So,
but yeah, you're right. Definitely go in that, because I don't know about that. Like, what do you think? Do you think there are types of filmmakers? Tell me more about that, man.
Yeah, I'd say the first thing you want to break down is my belief. And once again, this isn't backed by particular science. There is some science to kind of the coaching and the things I do to help my clients out. In addition to me being a filmmaker, I'm still a filmmaker. I write, direct, shoot my own content. not really shoot so much anymore, write, direct, produce. But a lot of people don't understand the first thing they want to realize, if whether they are a veteran filmmaker that feels like they may reach the plateau, they feel like they're on the same hamster wheel, or if you're brand new, looking to get involved, about to go to film school, maybe you just want to pick up a camera and be self-taught. First thing you got to realize is that what most people don't think about is that there is crew-minded versus creator-minded. All right, there's crew-minded versus creator-minded. And I reiterate this, and I'll say it several times, there is no right or wrong. It's all about what works for you. All right. Now, when I say crew-minded, this is someone who, once again, they may be more on the technical side. Really, a lot of the things when it comes to camera, lighting, grip work, they really gravitate towards that. They want to know every little thing there is, and they tend to be more of a supportive role. All right, when it comes to that. And they get really good at their craft and learning the specs and the ins and outs. And they're pretty much the people that, go on to be the camera assistants, the ACs, the grip and the gear, all the gear side, all the production, technical side, post-production, editors, colorists, whatever that is. All right. Yeah. Now there's another side. And that's the creator mindset, or creator minded. And creator minded is, you may be a little bit more on the creative side. You're not so much technical. You're more big picture. So you're someone who's waking up 3 a.m. with this great idea. You got to write it down. You have a lot of big picture stories. These tend to be more of your writers, more of your directors, the big picture people. They want to save the world and we want to make a great film together, And once again, there's no right or wrong, but those people, once again, I kind of started out in the middle, and I thought early on in my career, I was a crew-minded mindset. I came from Michigan, which is blue collar, get the money, what can I do to get this work? And then early on in my film career, I was like, oh, I got to do this in order to get the money, to get the jobs, to learn the skill set, get the certification. But then as time went on, I discovered I was just a little bit, that wasn't really who I was. I had kind of a big picture creator mindset. So it took me a while to really accept that I'm really more this big picture person. I love working with people. I like building up crews and teams. And really, as far as the writing side goes, putting these big picture stories together, as far as like TV pilots or features, and bringing people together in groups. So it really took me a while to really discover. I was forcing myself. I was kind of shoehorning myself into being crew-minded when I was really creator-minded. And the creator-minded, guess what? You might not get paid a whole lot, or you won't get paid as much as crew-minded people in the beginning, because they're so laser focused. Yeah, they get those jobs. They get those jobs that pay. They get the technical required, positions. So you really have to make that choice. Is you really got to sit down and think. And this is part of what the first thing I kind of sit down with my clients when I'm doing my coaching sessions from day one, because they're not teaching you this in film school. And I've been to film school. Oh yeah, I did both, bro. I mean, I did the self-taught route. I did the traditional schooling, 4-year college. I had a few years after college figuring out, had the camera, going around shooting stuff, figuring out. Then I decided, for certain reasons to try the film school route. But I will tell you that they never had this discussion. And I guarantee if you have this discussion, this will save you so much time if you're really real with yourself. There's no right or wrong if you want to just be the camera person, lighting person, and get hired on the next job. And it doesn't matter, and it's not a big deal if you want to be that creative person with a big picture idea. That's a more lonely path. So that's the first thing I encourage filmmakers to figure out for themselves, which I help them do. So.
Yeah, that's a great thing, because actually, and do you think like how much do you think it's preventing them to go forward, actually not realizing actually their real role in the whole piece?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's incremental that you get really real about yourself, because you can kind of just fall into the crowd or the fad of like doing this particular thing this way. Or like, hey, all my buddies out of film school, they got hired at this company, so I'm just work over here. I really wanted to work on this screenplay, but they're hiring at this production house. Or I really want to, just, work as a lighting and grip person, out in California. But then I feel like, oh, my friend wants me to help him on his 8th short film, and I really don't want to help him out. I really don't really believe in helping him with this vision. I just want to go out and get the work at the local 23 union in California. I don't really want to stick around and work on my friend's 5th short for free. You know, and
Yeah.
it's okay to be a little selfish when making that decision because it's your life, it's your career.
Yeah, that's actually great, and I totally understand that. Okay, do you have any other things you want to share?
Um, you can not exactly. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of ways we can go with this. I may need a
Oh
few more
yeah.
questions to guide it. There's a
Oh yeah,
lot of stuff I
actually,
could talk about. I just don't want to go off of anything. But yeah,
but
we could discuss a little more. It's up to you.
yeah, actually, I would like to know if there is anything you can tell to filmmakers, because I see that self-awareness, understanding your role is key first, because it really depends on the career you're gonna have. So I definitely see that as a problem. Now, what can you say filmmakers can do? If you can say like one, two, three things that filmmakers can do besides, as you told, knowing their role, what can they do actually to get to the next level? What do they don't know? That's nobody's telling them.
Okay. Well, the first thing, like I mentioned, be really real with yourself. I'm giving y'all some free, advice here. Figure out if you're crew minded or if you're honestly creator minded. Figure that out first. Second thing I would do is that you want to realize that it's all about the work. It's all about putting in a long amount of work for a long period of time, whether you go the crew route or the creator route. And I think a lot of people get it like, and I love how you mentioned this point earlier about better gear. It's not the solution.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember my first camera I shot, I'm dating myself, back in 2007 in college. Shout out Wayne State University back in Detroit. My first camera was it was called a Sony PD 170 on mini DV tape. I don't know if you were shooting back when they had mini DV tape, but they were almost kind of like, they were just a step above like film cameras. It was like the technology right after film cameras, you
I
know?
see.
So you pretty much had to shoot like on this mini DV tape. You go back to the edit lab, you take the tape, you put it like in this log, and it would like capture the log, digitize it into Final Cut 7, like at the time.
Oh,
And
I see.
now we have films. There's like a film called Tangerine. It went to Sundance a few years ago, all shot on an iPhone, literally on an iPhone. So this
Yeah.
is nothing new. A lot of this, I'm telling you, the filmmakers that are watching, they know this. So it's not about your film school thesis, which, oh my God, I know your film school thesis is brilliant and it's going to get into Sundance. It's just going to blow the career doors wide open. Maybe it will. I'm optimistic, but I'm a realist optimistic, to where I say that it's not about the camera you use. It's not about the film festival you get into or the film school you go to. It's about every day sitting down and doing the unglamorous, unsexy work. All right. And along with that, here's another rule I will teach you. And once again, if you're going the crew route, that means you're knocking on every door of a production company. You're calling, you're networking, you're maybe moving to cities to meet people because you're trying to like get on those productions. You're more in a supportive technical role, which is cool. And then if you're on the creator side, once again, a lot of that entails you sitting down. And this is like, I didn't invent this. This is Stephen King. This is George R. Martin of Game of Thrones. What do writers do? Write. Oh, hey, but I heard that before. I know, but are you doing it? And that's where I help people, because they don't realize there's a lot of things in their personality or their everyday habits that are holding them back from that next level. And a lot of that is just sitting down and writing every day. Oh, well, I my job, I have time to do it Saturday, Sunday. No. Are you sitting down and doing it every day? That is the unglamorous, unsexy work. We want to get that nugget of, well, okay, what can I use to get into this Sundance Fest? Oh, what hat can I use? We want this kind of magic bullet. But it's like,
Mm.
no, bro. End of the day, it's doing the work. Yes, like the harder you work, the luckier you get. Yes, and those opportunities comes up where a producer might see your work or you get in a certain festival. But it doesn't come just like, you know. So with that in mind, like the point I wanted to mention that is with the creator mindset. You want to, for example, if you're out here creating, you may be working a day job 9 to 5, may have nothing to do with film. But guess what? You're paying your bills. You're not worried. Crew-minded people don't tend to have to worry about this as much. A lot of times they may travel for work. I know a lot of people that moved out of Michigan, they moved to California, Atlanta, where the busier industries were, and they get the work. They go out and they PA on set and they work 10 to 12 hours and they grind, which is great, but it's just not for everybody. But those crew-minded that crew-minded crowd, they are more prone to get the work because they can hustle and get the work and they have the technical background. Now, if you're a more creator mindset, you don't have that technical know-how, get the day job, get the 9 to 5, has nothing to do with film, get those bills paid, all right? And you want to, pretty much what I like to do is like to call this the right, and let me know if I'm going too long or whatnot.
Oh, no, you're definitely going right on that.
But I've embraced what I call the right read and watch rule. The right read and watch rule for filmmakers, especially for you creative-minded people out there. I get it. Because we kind of fall into this whole, I'm a filmmaker, so I can watch all TV I want. I can watch all the film I want, all the movies I want. When did you write last? Well, you know, I'm working on it, but I got these other shows to catch up on. And that is killing you. That is killing a lot of you out there. Because you fall under this, well, I'm a creative. And also what's killing you is your whole, I'm a creative morning person routine. And I'm not going to rant too much on that, but I'm sure Gabriel, like a guy like you building this brand, you're working on yourself, you're doing personal development, you're exposing that and adding it to your filmmaking business. I know you know about morning routines and what a lot of entrepreneurs do and the successful habits. A lot of that has to do with getting up. So that's a whole nother subject. I'm not going to hammer you guys on that today, but I would say one tip is definitely wake up earlier. But as far as what I mentioned, the right read and watch rule is that, and I'm not perfect at this either. I still have to work at finding a balance, but you never want to be consuming more than 100% of the time. You don't want to be consuming content more than 50% of the time. So it needs to be 50-50 at the most, where you're producing, as in you're writing, you're shooting, you're editing stuff 50% of the time. And then on this side is the consuming. All right. So consuming is you're watching the TV and the films and whatnot, and like the TV, because once again, there's a lot of great TV out there. We're in a pretty much a TV renaissance, as you know. And what's great about it is that there is a lot of content where you can learn from, but it's easy to get sucked up. Man, I'm studying, I'm learning, and you're just watching stuff. So I say right read, watch rule. Right is where you're screenwriting something, or it can apply toward editors out there who are editing something. Because everyone may not be a writer, maybe you're an editor of some sort. You're writing or editing something, the right part. Next is the read. A lot of filmmakers aren't reading scripts. There's a lot of things you learn from reading other screenplays, good and bad. And this was exposed to me when I had a chance. When I came out here to LA, I was able to work, fortunately, in the mailroom over at Verve Talent Literary Agency. I'll give them a free shout out. They're not paying me for that, but it definitely exposed me to a lot about the screenwriting side of the business and looking at scripts, what's called script coverage, because they represent film director and writers. Now they recently expanded to actors as well, but back when I was there, they only repped the directors and filmmakers. So I really had a blessed opportunity to be in these rooms, these agents, and basically being able to pitch a script I read over the weekend. And it really taught me more about the structure and putting in the work, So I highly encourage people to read scripts. You can go to the Internet Movie Script Database. You can look up old screenplays, read your friends' scripts, have them read yours, pick apart what's bad about it, what's good about it, So that's the read rule, where I encourage people to read stuff. And that falls more under self-study, because it's not always, sometimes it's fun to read certain scripts if they're good, but it's not always entertainment to read scripts sometimes. Sometimes it can kind of fall under the work. It can kind of fall under, I want to say it's producing. You're not producing anything, but you are self-studying. All right. So reading is kind of more like self-study. It's towards your craft. All right.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, I say at the end of the day, once you get the producing out the way, which is either writing or editing first, once you get the self-study out the way, which is reading scripts, study the scripts, then is watch. So write, read, and watch. So now spend part of the day, end of the day, don't fall asleep in front of your TV at 2 a.m. But, watch that episode or two of that TV show, that hot new TV show everybody's been telling you to watch. Go check out that movie you've been meaning to watch on Netflix or Prime. That's totally cool. That's just my philosophy. And I've been more consistent on that this past year. And I've just fully embraced that mindset, the right read and watch rule. So.
And what would you say that rule gave you in return?
What it gave me?
Yeah, compared to when you weren't using it that much before.
Oh yeah, it just gave me a lot more perspective, because there's a lot of filmmakers out here that are really hobbyists. If you're not putting the amount of hours toward the work every day, you're a hobbyist. You're watching, you're consuming more than you're producing. All right. And I say producing, not to say we're all film producers, but even if you're a screenwriter, even if you're like a gaffer on a movie set, when you're doing the work, when you're writing, when you're gaffing, when you're directing, that's producing. It's all producing. That comes from that's kind of like a sales term where you're producing, but that applies to whatever your discipline is. You're producing. If you're directing on set, if you're stringing up lights, if you're sitting down writing every day, you're producing. You're producing a product or service. So yeah, that having that mindset and developing that ratio has helped immensely to give me perspective and realize, okay, I'm not the filmmaker because I watched all the Tarantino, Spike Lee joints, you know, to answer your question.
So. Yeah. And actually, how much do you think it's important to actually take some time aside of what you do and study on your craft, whatever is actually reading scripts like you told me, or doing other things? What would you recommend first, and how much it is important actually?
Oh yeah, I would recommend yeah, like I mentioned, bro, I kind of like summed it all up in the right read and watch rule. It's just essential. Not because you could easily go the flip way. A lot of people get caught up just watching stuff more than they produce. But then a lot of people, they may just take this camera and then like shoot so much, but they're not learning and improving along the way. All right. And I'll give a specific example of a festival where like a guy was like, yeah, you know, like he screened this movie, which is pretty bad. I mean, I remember being I'm not gonna name the festival, the filmmaker. But then like when they were doing the Q&A, everybody was kind of like, And then he was sort of like, yeah, I just didn't, want to make another hood movie. And everybody's going like, bro, that was a hood movie. That was which is kind of slang for, very urban, a lot of urban stereotypes of Black folks in it. And it was kind of like, okay, he didn't have a level of self-awareness on that movie. And I think you should always take account and take your ego out of it and get feedback now and make sure you're incrementally improving. But your movies look the same way they did like 5-7 years ago. It's time to take account. So some people can get caught up on the other extreme, Gabriel, where all they're doing is shooting. They're putting out content. Shooting isn't an issue. Some people don't have no issue putting out content, but they're not getting any incremental feedback. They're getting kind of the validation and cheerleading from all their family, friends, like, yeah, it's great. But no one's sitting down with you saying, yeah, this movie kind of sucks, or you just improve this here, or you need to focus on getting a DP and not shoot this part yourself next time, and get that incremental feedback, which is, it's kind of like that quote from Pharrell, the truth will set you free, first it'll piss you off. And I've had to have people sit down with me and say, hey, bro, that wasn't that hot, or you should probably improve this. And yeah, it kind of stings a bit. Yeah. But you learn to get better when you get that unfiltered, unemotionally attached feedback from a third party versus your family and friends saying, oh, yeah, it was great.
Actually, because I believe that whenever you hear something like this, oh, yeah, it was great, without any more details, it's actually that there is something.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah. They got no feedback for you. Yeah, and I got to work on that too, because even like when I'm giving what we call script notes or coverage back to like clients of mine, it's like, yeah, sometimes I can get caught up in just saying it's great or I like this part. And I got to challenge myself even now to where, okay, this script really didn't hit the right way. I kind of gave it like a nice complimentary pass. But I need to go back and look and say, oh, okay, you need to improve this, or let me deep dive and get specific. So sometimes you got to get out of your family and friend comfortable circle and not wait on their validation or to say, hey, great job, buddy, get the pat on the back. You got to just go out and do the work and let other people look at it. You know.
Exactly. You got to really like learn, go do the hard work and go
Exactly, man.
figure out,
Exactly.
debrief. Okay, that works, that doesn't. And
Hmm.
would you say you got to be tough on yourself sometimes? Like be like,
All the time, man. It be tough all the time. I'm tough on the people I work with. I'm in a couple writers groups, and we meet there twice a month. There's actually three that I'm in. One is two are where we only talk about feature films and TV pilots that we share, discuss, give each other feedback twice a month. Another one is just strictly comedy sketches. But I'm just as hard on my writers in that group as I am with people that are writing feature screenplays and TV pilots. It's just best to give the most, obviously you don't want to just say, hey man, your scripts suck.
yeah,
You want to
be
be like,
respectful.
courteous, just like you give them, you service people better, giving them, I think it's like a quote saying like, it's better to be in honest conflict than false harmony. So I'm
Yeah,
better off giving you
that's
this
the idea.
feedback. You get in your feelings a little bit or emotional versus, oh yeah, it was great. Because I'm hurting you in the long run. Because you don't run that up to an agent or manager and then blow the opportunity because everybody told you it was great. You know? So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, oh, yeah, and that's actually a great thing. You gotta really be
Mhm.
into that thing, not being hard on yourself. You gotta be hard on yourself, but you gotta tell the truth. It's not about like, oh, you suck, you're that. No, it's not about that. It's about really be like, okay, what needs to be improved here? And
Mhm.
also what can be great, I believe. You mentioned being in those groups. What's also really important is to be in a community that forces you to get better, that can give you feedback.
Exactly. And it's uncomfortable. And guess what? It's inconvenient. There's some weeks where I don't feel like showing up to the writers group. I got other stuff going on. I got bills to pay. And that habit of being in a writers group, which I recommend everybody get in a writers group. What's a writers group? You and at least two other screenwriters you know. Because if it's just one-on-one, when you guys get busy, it gets a little bland, and then you guys quit anyway. But if it's at least you and two other screenwriters you know, you can get on Zoom. You got to meet anymore. And you guys just say, okay, I got this script I'm working on. Can you guys read it? Let's meet back up next week or in 3 weeks and tell me what you hated about it, what you love. Simple as that. And I would say a trusted circle. I want to go around spamming, messaging everybody on social media and just making a huge group. You want to keep things intimate because it's your stuff, it's your IP. But yeah,
Mm.
writers groups are incremental. And there's a lot of mentors I've learned from over the years that just said, hey, you got to be in writers groups and you keep doing it. It's all about the work. It's not only about getting the feedback, because you should be getting feedback too. It's a give and take. You don't join it just so give me my feedback of what I need. No, no, no. You're going to be reading other people's scripts as well. That's going to, once again, it goes back to the read rule, the self-study rule. You can self-study and learn from reading other people's stuff, what's good or horrible about it. And then yeah, you circle back, and then of course you're able to, when you show up every week, because you promised like I'd read this guy's script and give them a little bit of notes on it in 3 weeks. That's going to help build your muscle, your discipline. Because right now, maybe many of you may not be disciplined. You kind of write when you feel like it. You watch way more movies and TV shows than you ever would write, and you probably can't honestly say the last time you actually read a script, somebody else's script. So a lot of you guys have the ratios out of whack. It's not your fault. I was there too. But now that you have the information, it's time to apply that information.
Oh yeah, and
So
that's the
that's
key.
what we're here for, Gabriel. You're doing a great job with this
Oh
too.
yeah.
You know.
Thanks a lot, Hayward. And I want to
Yeah.
also add something on that.
Uh-huh.
It's great to have that information. It's
Uh-huh.
great to like, oh, I've learned something great. Hayward gave me some good nuggets and Gabe as well. But and I struggle with that a long time. The person that's always watching the course and basically like, yay, learned some great
Mhm.
things today. What did you do? Uh, Nothing. You gotta apply the stuff. You gotta apply
Mhm.
those things, and you gotta get
Yeah, that's
consistent.
the worst when I like give advice and then 3, 6 months later, a year later, hey, where are you at? Well,
Yeah.
right there where they were before. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And you to change. You gotta change. And something that we have a mentor in common, Awood and me. Something that Grant actually told us was, yep,
Mhm.
if you have something that you want to change, first thing is not to add something else.
Mhm.
First thing is that you have to give up something.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's still stuff I gotta like, compromise and give up too. I would like to watch a little bit more TV on weekdays. I would love to. But between like the writing, because I have a day job as well, like everybody else. I'm not out here full-time filmmaker, screenwriter, but at the same time, like I'm on my way. But I still know I have to get in this amount of hours writing. I have to get in this amount of reading. I have to get in this amount, even just personal development, book reading. So yeah, I had to give up. I love like maybe watching an episode or two of a TV show on a weekday night. I had to
Yeah.
give that up for a season, and I still have. I have a little time on the weekends more, but yeah, little sacrifices like that. Can't go out every Friday, Saturday night. Occasional birthday, holiday maybe. Especially around LA, we're big on like they'll shut down the whole industry from like the start of December to like end of January.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Not that you gotta be out in LA as much as you did before COVID, but yeah, I mean, you have to, you got to compromise definitely, and not have it your way all the time if you want to get to greatness, as they say.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And I've had an interesting question come to my mind.
Okay.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you think gear is actually making the difference?
Don't talk about this, bro. It means absolutely nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. Back to the crew-minded. If you're a camera assistant, that's your lane. I know several very talented ACs or gaffers who, they have their own grip truck. They have their own camera set. So a lot of times they have like, rates where in order to get me in the camera, it's like 2,000-3,000, whatever day or whatnot. If you want to just get me, it's X amount. So yeah, when it comes to specifically crew-minded camera assistants, ACs, DPs, yes, that does matter because you're competitive out here. It is, I'm not trying to call people commodities, but there is a commodity aspect to it. You are competing with the next DP with the latest camera and specs. So it matters in that aspect. But if you're out here as a writer, director, producer, on the creator side, where you're not getting hired for all of that technical work, the camera doesn't matter. All right. I've shot on stuff, like I mentioned, my first film, Sony PD-170, mini DV tape. And then my first camera I got out of school, grad gift, Canon T3i. All right. I shot my film school thesis on the Blackmagic pocket camera. And then there's even comedy sketch stuff that in my writers group that we do. We shoot that on Sony A7 III. The recent short film, shameless plug, it's called Alpine, dark thriller, kind of like The Village meets Apocalypto meets, I forgot the other one. But we shot that back in Michigan on the Canon R5. Shout out to my cinematographer, Alice Gasparetto, doing a lot of great things. And he put me on that camera maybe a few months into pre-production, and I didn't know anything about it. I kind of had already stepped away from the crew-minded side for a while, but I'm always down to learn, and I'm open to new ideas and new techniques. So we had a conversation and meeting about the Canon R5 and all the advantages and whatnot. And I'm like, cool, let's go. Why not? I might not have a chance to shoot on this for a while. So like I said, the camera doesn't matter. The editing platform doesn't matter either. It really depends on what your editor prefers and what's compatible. But yeah, unless you're a crew-minded individual, you're out here getting hired for that stuff. If you're a writer, director, producer, camera doesn't matter. What matters is the amount of work you're doing. You can have this really nice film shot on the RE Alexa, but if you didn't put that out, if that was the last project you shot in the past 2 years, I guarantee the person that's shooting with a Canon T-series every week is gonna run circles around you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's practice every day doing the non-sexy work as you told.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And the gear doesn't matter as much as we think. And hey, I'm to close this, we're gonna finish that interview. And I wanna ask you if you have one takeaway, one thing you can tell the audience to do right now, to take action on something, what would it be?
Ooh. I would say one thing to take action on is really figuring out yourself, because like any industry or business you're in, it is a bit of a mind game. It kind of starts with you up here. A lot of people want the tell me what to do, get this. And, you know, you don't have a lot of this foundation. So the foundation is discovering if you're really, because they may be veteran filmmakers listening to this and they've been that good at their thing for years. And they're just figuring this out. Like, wow, I never really thought about that. So figure out if you're crew minded or creator minded. The sooner you figure that out, the better. You know, it wasn't until recently, the past few years, I had that honest conversation. And then from there, obviously you want to factor in, like, you know, what your risk tolerance is, because your risk tolerance, likely when you're crew minded, you want to get the work, you want to pay the bills, as you used to pay the bills. Now, if you're creator mindset, there's a certain risk tolerance that comes with that, but you not likely have to get the day job, because your writing, producing, directing isn't going to be paying the bills for a while. So you really want to discover whether you're crew or creator minded. You really want to be real about what your risk tolerance is. Like, can I go this amount of time, maybe making this much and maybe struggling, or do I need to have this job at this production house or in this union, you know? Yeah, and then from there, just got to be real. And then it goes back to doing the work, doing that unsexy work in your discipline, whether you're writing at a coffee shop every day or at home, or if, you know, you're self-studying the camera specs on the latest RE camera about to drop, you know? So I would say that's the thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Doing the work, and
doing the work, man. Doing the work.
That was great, Edward. Thanks a lot for coming on that show. I had a really great insight on what I can do and what the audiences can do. So that's really great. Thanks a lot for that, man. I hope we can do something together in the future.
Yeah, me too, man. Once again, I mean, do you do like another part of the slide, or are we like ending?
Yeah. I'm gonna end the interview here, and then I'm gonna go on my show, do other things, gonna share some other tipses.
Okay, so should I just drop off right now? Or
yeah, actually you can, or maybe you can just like hang out and see what I can share.
I got another 38 minutes, man. So I could just sit back and watch the show, or I can go on mute.
Exactly.
You know?
Or you can go watch the show on YouTube as well. YouTube Gabriel Julie. I'm gonna do a shameless plug on you guys as well.
Okay, cool. I'll just watch it from off off Zoom. But it was great, man. I enjoyed this conversation, bro. I will talk to you later. Okay,
talk to you later, my man.
All right.
See ya. Mm-hmm. So guys, how much did you like that? I did. Like, it was really awesome to see insights from that, because, you know, I'm more in the freelancing stuff, more in that self, like, you know, entrepreneur kind of side. And it was really interesting to see the really technical aspect, that knowledge that Heywood gave. Because I know a lot of filmmakers, like, say trash on film schools and things like that, but there are lots of things that we can learn from the really theoretical aspect, and that you need to learn, guys. You need to learn. You are not doing enough homeworks on your craft, and that's preventing you in some ways to get to the next level. So I'm gonna share my screen to go on the next slide. But first, let me do something. I'm gonna close the door. All right, here we go. So, because, you know, we're owning our houses, and loads of stuff are going on right here. So here we go back again. So Q&A time. I took a few questions that I saw on the internet, or frequently asked questions, and I was just like, man, let's respond to those questions. Let's take them. I'm going to take 3 of them and respond to those, and give a quick answer to those. So let's go. First question, I'm going to move my camera out of the way. How can I get more money as a filmmaker? How can you get more money as a filmmaker? As I would said, you have 2 options. Whether you have to find a job, but I'm more talking about the entrepreneurial side of the equation. How can you get more money as a filmmaker? As we discussed, it's not really about having the best gear. Of course, it helps, but it's not the right solution. What's going to really make you so that you get a difference on that is your sales skills. How much do you know how to sell yourself? And I never saw, or at least maybe one time or two, some filmmakers talking about, yeah, man, you need to sell yourself. It's not about, it's just about, yeah, You have that script, you reach them out via email. No, man, you need to do some serious homework on that. And I know I'm dropping a lot of homework to you guys, but stay with me here because there is a reason for that. If you watch all the most successful people out there, whether it's in the filmmaking industry or it's in any industries, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all of them, they are awesome sellers and communicators. And I think that's maybe something that you should pick and be like, okay, that's interesting. That's something I should take out from that. Because when you know how to sell yourself, you can sell your products or yourself, your services, and get paid the amount you can. And you do not have to work as much because people think it's about, yeah, you got to work hard. Yeah, it's about working hard. But at some point, you can work out, you can work hard at such points, and then you cannot work more. You cannot work harder. So what can you do then? You got to be improving your skills, your filmmaking skills, as we talked about with a word before, and your sales skills. That's pretty important to do that so you can get paid the amount you want. Then, how should I price my services? So this is a really rookie question I hear a lot, and I see a lot of people asking that question. How can I price my services? I don't really know how my worth. I'm just starting out, or I'm starting to get pretty good to that, and I want to know, should I go to a really high price point or should I be like gentle with that? I'm gonna tell you something. There is no interest, no strategical interest to be the second lower priced provider. What does that mean? If you can't be Walmart, don't search to go to the right from the bottom, because what's going to happen is you're going to have a market, and some of you are maybe in a really saturated market with a lot of competition, like LA, Atlanta, those kind of people, as Awol talked about. And in those places, what's going to happen is that you have like your top of the line filmmakers, like really the great guys, and then you have the freelancers, the guys starting out shooting some little projects here and there. And what's happening to those guys is they go through what I call the race to the bottom. Okay, the guy is pricing at 200 a day. Oh damn, he's dropping $20. I gotta drop $25, and you go, and then pretty much you don't have any margins, and you struggle to get by. And I don't want you to do that. I want to show you a different perspective on how you can sell your services. And it's pretty big. Don't sell a product. Don't sell, I'm doing filmmaking, I'm making a video. Sell an offer. I'm gonna do your video, I'm gonna edit it, I'm gonna share you after that. For example, if you're doing that for a company, I'm going to shoot the video for you because it's an advertisement. I'm gonna make so that I do the right advertising strategies for you. Then I'm going to do the follow-up strategies because you want to get customers, you want to get lead with that piece of content. I'm going to actually share with you the strategies you can use for that. And that's just an example. But you see how the value increase. There are two ways to increase to pay the lowest price for something. First, you decrease the price. If you want to have the lowest priced product, first you decrease the price. That's the first way. Or you increase the value. And because you increase the value so much, you can be paid 10x the amount of your competition is being paid. But because you bring so much value, you're going to be the person that everybody is going to talk to. You're going to get the best clientele because, the people that pay the most are the best clients. Let's be real. And you're going to be able to have some great margins, and you're going to be able to grow. Think in offers, not products. Third question. It's actually a sentence. I feel like, I'm not getting paid the price I believe my services work. How can I change that? And that's what I talked about in the beginning. You go to a client and they tell you, oh, the budget is that. And you thought about being paid 3, 4, 10 times more. Sometimes they drop you some numbers. You think, man, do you really understand how much it takes to make a video? Because it takes a lot of work. And oftentimes we have to educate those people on that. And the thing is, first, you have to tell them that, I'm just not clicking 10 buttons and being like, man, that's done. go in the magic PC things, and then wow, you got a video. That's not how it works, you know. You gotta test that, but first you gotta be able. As I told you, it's gonna very loop back to what I told you because you know, man, I want to communicate a point with you. You gotta get good at really understanding if it's an objection of if they're just playing with you. And I'm gonna go on that further in the rest of the stream. So make sure you stay on the stream. Because sometimes buyers are just playing with you. They know that, yeah, I know they don't know how to handle that. So I'm just gonna make it so that I get the lowest price. Because man, let's be real. If you can get something for cheaper, you're gonna get it for cheaper, you know. And some people that don't have real true sales skills, what's gonna happen is that the buyer, the prospect, is gonna play around with you like a toy. And I guess you don't want that. So learn how to handle objections, learn how to close a deal, learn how to prospect. So you cannot be like, oh, that was my only client. Shit, I gotta go start look out for another one again. That's a whole other skill, sales, like filling up a pipeline, getting a list of people that giveaway time. Hayward was the first winner. He's gonna get the way, the real way on how you can handle any price shoppers, anybody. You know that guy, and I'm really going hard on that because I know so many people struggle with that. Have you ever been underpaid for a project? I think a lot of you were. And don't tell me, hey, I'm the first to tell you that you got to work for free at some point to know a bit about what you're doing. But at some point, man, you got to make some money, you know. And when you're at that point, how can you make sure that you can charge the price you want? I'm gonna give you all the secrets to that. You gotta do one thing only. I'm only asking you for one thing. Share the stream, share the video, and then send me a DM at Gabriel Julie. I'm gonna put my name at the end of the stream so you can do that. You gotta stay at the end of the stream as well so you can get that. But guys, share the stream and you're gonna be able to handle any price customer. And you know, that's pretty valuable, guys. So right now, I just want to share with you little secrets because, you know, I love secrets. And I believe you guys do as well. And I want to share with you my top 3 secrets to dramatically change the amount of money you're going to make as a creative. Are you ready? Let's go. First, start learning about marketing. Whoa, man, you're giving me so many things to learn. I don't like that. And I get you. And I was just like you before. Until I found that man, nobody understands how to market. And why is that interesting? Because if you do know how to do that, you can do it for yourself, which is great because you're going to be able to differentiate yourself, be omnipresent in your markets, and get some ton of people in your pipeline. But second, you can also do that as a service, which is what I do. I go to a company. If they want to do an advertisement, I go and sell them a whole package. Man, I also know how to make some marketing. If you'll make sure that pretty video I'm gonna make you is gonna make you some money, and that's what I'm gonna use, you know. Learn some skills because you can use them for yourself and you can use them for your customers. So that's pretty important for that. Secret number 2, learn sales. That's the second thing I wanted to learn. The third thing I never talked pretty much to anybody about. And I think nobody's talking about filmmakers knowing about sales and marketing, but no, even less people are actually talking about the next thing I'm going to share. But start learning about sales, man. The only reason you are not getting the amount of money you wish you could make is because you don't know anything about selling. Note that, take some notes, screenshot that, put it on your home screen. Do whatever you want, but remember that sentence. The only reason you are not getting the amount of money you wish you could make is because you don't know anything or enough about selling. That's the only reason, because the best salespeople on earth are the billionaires, the people on the top of the food chain. If you do not know about selling, it's because it's actually a reason why you're not getting paid the amount you want. Learn about sales, guys. Learn about that. And the next one. I never saw anybody talk about that. I told you before. Start learning on how to scale. What is scaling? At some point you get to a point like you know how to, you have a solid income, you know how to market yourself, you know how to sell yourself, you're getting some pretty good money. But then what comes after that? Because you cannot be a solo person doing it all yourself. You gotta edit, you gotta do the works, find some new clients, find some new prospects, new projects to shoot. You can do all that by yourself. You can do it at the beginning, but at some point, if you want to be more productive and get some more results, you got to focus on the things that you know you're the best at. So get a team. You can't make it alone. You can't. You just can't make it alone. And also some things that I know a lot of people do, because my parents, I come from an agricultural background. My parents have some yields and they harvest stuff. It's really hard labor. And what's the one thing that I saw them do, and they still do it right now, and I'm fixing that with them because I know about that stuff, is that you have to stop working in your business and work on your business. I've learned that in the E-Myth, the book. I don't remember the author, but the thing is, when you work in your business, you don't have the time to be the person that's driving the machine, driving the boat. And the problem is that you kind of get wumbled around like, oh, okay, this thing happened to me. Oh, now this thing also happened to me. That sucks. Oh, that's great. But you cannot drive physically the business where you want it to be. So you have to create a structure that you can control from a distance and that you can drive to the direction you want. You have to scale, guys. You can't get at it alone. You just can't. And because I love secrets and I also love bonuses, I'm going to share with you another one. And it's actually going to help you put all three things I shared them with you before together. So, bonus secrets. The thing that you're going to get at the bonus secret is that, guys, you got to lose your mind. You got to lose your mind because it's really important for a simple reason. The things that you got before, they took you to some place that you are right now. Okay? But the thing is that those things are preventing you to get to the next level. Right? So you got to lose your mind. You got to lose the things that you know from before to get to the next level. Lose your mind, man. Lose your mind. So, next thing, I'm going to share with you something really important. A little how-to. How you guys can make sure that your customers never play around with you ever again. Because they are. Let's be real. Let's be real. They are playing with you. They are toying with you. Like, a little figurine, like, that little unicorn right here that's on my girlfriend's desk. They are playing with you like that. Really, they're playing with you like that because, and they're not going to tell you that, but man, you don't know how to handle them. So they're going to play with you. Yeah. You can have the power to not, I'm sure you're an ethical person. I'm sure you're a good person. So you're not going to play with your customers, but you're going to know how to drive a conversation. You're going to know how to make sure that, okay, I know how to handle this. I'm confident that I can do that. And when I'm doing this, I know I'm going to get that result. And when you have that certainty, when you have that skill set to permit you to do that, man, you become invincible. You become now you're not just great or good at your craft. You become a master. You know how to do that. So how can you make sure that your customers never play around with you again? You have to learn how to handle them. You have to learn how you can make sure that you can handle them. And what does that mean, handling them? I'm not really good at football, like football with my foot, because I'm in France and it's like soccer for you guys in the US, but you have to, I don't know how to handle the ball, so I'm going to do crap with that ball and I'm not going to make a goal. You have to make sure that you know how to go through the whole terrain, the whole thing, so you can make sure you get that goal. You got to practice. I would say you got to practice three things, but most importantly, two ones. You got to practice number one, handling objections, mastering the art of handling objections. Because when you know how to handle objections, what's going to happen is that somebody tell you, oh man, this is too expensive. And then you can basically respond, hey man, I got you. I understand. And I felt the same way before until I found out that, man, this is a real fair price. And I found out like, man, the competition is charging that for just doing videos. And as I told you before, our proposal specifies that we're going to do video, we're going to do advertising for you, we're going to do Facebook advertising for you. Man, do you know how to do Facebook advertising? Oh man, I don't, but I know we need that. Sure, sign that. Let's do this. That's a great way to handle an objection. And if you know how to handle, what would be the price for you that you would pay to handle any objections that come to your way? Man, how many more customers, projects you can be able to get, whether it's money or whether it's just an agreement that you can get from somebody to do a project with them. Man, Gabe, I really like what you do and I really like your stuff, the stuff you did, but I think we've had that other guy that's doing some stuffs that we really like him, and I think we're gonna go with him. Oh, okay then. Okay, that's not being able to handle the objection. Watch me how I can handle that. And man, I think we're gonna go with somebody else, and I totally understand that, man. And I know that guy, and I know he's doing some great stuff. Now, how can I make sure that I complement the need that this person is fulfilling so we can get the best result for you? Tell me. That's a can-do attitude. That's a way you can make sure you can handle that thing and you can get that project. So they can never play around with you. So first thing, know how to handle objections. Second, you have to learn how to close a deal. People don't ask to, they hope that, okay, it's going to happen to you. It's going to be like, okay, I'm just going to tell that I'm the great, that I do that. I'm going to show them my real, and they're going to be like, hey, let's do something together. The thing is that just because you do some pretty videos doesn't mean that people are going to go and flood your email address with tons of messages like, let's work together. It's not happening right now. And there is a reason why, because you don't know how to close a deal. You don't ask for the close. You don't ask, hey, let's do this. I want to work with you. Let's do that. Sign right here. You got to learn how to close, to ask to make a decision. You have to learn on how to do that. And last thing, you got to learn how to sell. The whole way, showing yourself, showing how you are the best version, the best way to resolve that problem. You are the best way to resolve that problem. So, last thing. I think that's the last thing. Yeah. The giveaway. Giveaway first, guys. Hey, just share the stream, and I'm going to give you the scripts, the specific things that you need to do, the things you need to say on how to handle price shoppers, price customers. Those people like, hey man, I got a better price from that person, and be like, okay, man, I know that you got a better price from that person. Now tell me tell me, and then you go on, and you tell exactly the great way to handle that, and you get the clients. I'm going to give you the specific script, and I didn't tell it right now because I was like, man, I don't want to give it to you right now. I want you to do something. I want you to take action, because I know that if you take specific actions, if you do actually something to get that, you're going to use it. If you just lay down here like, okay, give it to me, you're not going to get it. You're not going to use it. I want you to make some efforts, to commit, to make some efforts to do that. So share the stream right now to get that. And then, yeah, guys, just send me a DM on Instagram. Gabriel Julie. That's Gabriel G. Oh, shit. The French not knowing how to pronunciate the English language. So Gabriel Julie. Hey, that's how you can reach out to me on Instagram and get those methods, the ultimate methods to handle any price shoppers, guys. any of them. And I want to tell you something. I want to go to my final thoughts before. Guys, being a filmmaker, as I talked about with A-Wood, when you're a filmmaker, you're just not a filmmaker. You're just not somebody that's gonna, hey, like I'm gonna shoot more projects. You gotta work on your craft, yes. You gotta be better at what you do, of course. But you also have to have another set of skills that are not provided, that people don't tell you about. It's about marketing, selling yourself, making sure that you can scale the methods you are doing right now, making sure that you can expand what you do to a greater level, guys. Because if you go on there and you are just a filmmaker, let's be real, you're a commodity. You can do videos like, maybe you claim to do better videos than anybody else, but let's be real. There are some people that can do better videos than you, and you know it. Now, how can you differentiate? You gotta find your way. But one thing that you can do for differentiate yourself is to learn all the things that you can get and that you can sell with what you do. For example, what I do is that I'm going to sell the video, but then I'm going to tell, man, hey, I also do some marketing stuff and some sales stuff if you want to maximize the results you're going to get with that video. Because let's be real, a pretty video is going to not do the job. What's going to really do the job is the marketing strategy, the campaign that we know we've got the perfect strategy and that we can perfectly apply to the video. And also, do you guys are really like trained to handle the leads that are going to come from that? Kind of. Yeah. They can be better. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate the results are getting you? I would say, yeah, 6. Solid 6. Yeah, if I can make that a 10, what would it be, And then I can sell them how they can sell better, So that's a way that I can differentiate myself. And that way I don't have to charge like a minuscule price from what I'm doing. I can basically, because I give more value, I can charge more. You got to really understand that, guys. You got to make it so that you get more valuable, that you give more so you can receive more. But for that, to communicate that, you got to figure out first, okay, being aware of what are your skills, what you can do, what you can sell, plus what you are doing to others, so you can make it so that, okay, I'm sure I'm going to get some more value and I'm going to be paid more. Then you're going to have the certainty that you know how to sell, and then you market yourself like a lot so you can be omnipresent and people go to you like, oh man, like you are everywhere. Yeah, I know. That's what you want to have. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the show. If you do, then guys, if you want to benefit as much as I hope you are wanting, send a DM to Gabriel Julie on Instagram so you can get that ultimate method to handle any objection and any price shoppers. I know they are bothering you. So guys, please do that for yourself. That was all for me, and I wish you the best, guys. Take care.